Happy Wednesday, everybody, and welcome into the Gramlich and McLean podcast presented by Ingles, the official supermarket of Gramlich and McLean. Mac, we have an exciting episode today, just one that we're excited about. I don't know if you guys can tell or if you knew that Mac and I are both Clemson alums, so this was just fun. You probably knew about Mac, obviously. This was just fun to have Clemson quarterback Cade Klubnik on. And Mac, I was struck by, we were talking about this, how mature, how confident. We had him on a long time ago. It was before the
first start.
2022 ACC championship game. Yes. So it's been a minute, and the night and day, like, he just seems so much more mature, so much more grown up. And obviously you can tell that on the field, Mac.
Yeah. It was the Orange Bowl. It was before the Orange Bowl.
You're right.
Way back then. His first ever start.
ACC championship. Yeah.
I was blown away. I loved it. I loved the way he was answering and the detail and the realness. Y'all are going to love this. We'll talk about it more on the other side. I don't want to give anything away. I want you to hear from him. But, just the ability to self-critique and get better and where he is today is really fun. And, of course, we jump in every asset of this team, every aspect. These quarterbacks, it's hard to get them to talk about themselves, but we try our best to get them going. They want to talk about everyone else, which he had a great outline for us there. So we'll get to that. We'll get to that interview. Really quick, KG, you have a funny Ingles story. I have a great Ingles story. I'll let you go first and bring some comic relief here.
Well, mainly, for anybody out there who has a child, my child's been teething, okay? And it's been just tough times. But the one thing he'll still eat is every berry under the sun. So that's really what I've been doing. That's what my entire income goes to at this time, is supporting Jacob's berry addiction, Raz, black, blue, straw, all of them. But that's what we do, Mac. And I know that you can completely relate to this situation, but also you're going to tell us about steak, which is probably more interesting to most people.
Of course. Well, you know what I want you to do right now as I'm talking, because we both have pictures and maybe I can find one and send them to you. Like, we will go and do, we'll go shop, we'll get our supply, and then you and I will exchange photos of the fruit being washed and drying, and it takes up the entire counter. And we're like, oh, nice, 3 days worth of berries. It's just like, these kids are savages. They love it. They love berries, no matter what. And it's so funny, KG. We have a good healthy dose of fruit. Like, we'll do it for breakfast.
All of it.
But she asks for it every meal. So she'll get done, and then she'll look at me and go, grapes, blueberries. And she'll just start being so sweet and so funny. I'm like, absolutely. Whatever you want. We'll load it up. So anyway, I'm with you right there. And the good thing is, again, low prices love the savings. Let's go. Get them at Ingles. They're going to take care of you. What also they're going to do, KG, is they're going to have the best meat in town, the best steaks in town. Yesterday, I went and got some ribeyes, and it's just, it's just life-changing. If you're a little sad, if you're happy, if you're mad, if you're overjoyous, whatever occasion, steaks will heighten any situation. So we did that, a little reverse sear ribeye, just cooked it to perfection. I mean, I cut into that thing after you let it rest a little bit and just saw the color, and it was just like, man, it's a good job. And then you taste it.
Nothing makes you happier, Mac. I know.
Nothing. I had some for breakfast this morning too, steak and eggs. So anyway, I could talk about that for 100 years. Let's get to a message from Ingles. Let's give the people what they want. Cade Klubnik, let's go.
Did you know Ingles only sells USDA choice and prime cuts of meat? Maybe it's time to reward yourself. Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. Grass-fed, organic, you name it. Not only that, we'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. And we grind meat fresh in the store multiple times a day. It's all in the bag. That's the best meat in town for the best folks in town. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Cade Klubnik, welcome back to the show. It's been a while, man, since we had you on here, but it's great to see you. Man, you've been balling, taking it to a whole nother level. It's been very fun for us, particularly. The bias it can show today to be able to watch you. But I do want to start there. I want to start with just this offense, your growth, your development, and just your kind of big pictures on where you are right now in this season.
Yeah, it's been a really exciting season. It's fun to, go to work for the last 10 months and see yourself grow as a player and as a leader and as a team. Just see us and how we've grown. It's fun to see the work that I've put in kind of come to life. And that was one thing that, if you really want to be great, you got to see what you're bad at. And you gotta take that and see, hey, how can I really get better at it? And not take it personally, because you want to see that and see, wow, how can I go be the best self? So I saw what I wasn't very good at last year. I didn't take that personally. And I got the advice of my coaches and the people around me. I said, how can I get better? And I wanted to go get better. And it's fun to see those things that I really tried to, grow in my game and as a leader. So it's been a really fun year, and we're still getting better every week, and it's been exciting.
Give us one or two of those things that you identified in the off season, and how do you think you've been able to rectify those in some ways?
Yeah, I think first of all, just my pocket movement, and being able to make more plays with my legs. I think that's kind of 1A, 1B. Just something that I was definitely, just being more calm in the pocket, and that definitely just takes more experience and stuff. But that was something that I really challenged myself on, is just having great elite pocket movements and being able to stay a passer as long as I can and hang in there, deliver the football, and sometimes kind of stare down the barrel with a guy, a Mike linebacker running right at you and be able to deliver a big pass down the field. So being able to do that, I feel like that's a big jump that I've been able to do. Use my legs when I can. And I think that that's something that, off of the scramble drills and stuff like that, being able to get through my reads faster because of being in this offense for another year. So just, being able to know the offense on another level, be able to decipher what a defense is going to do pre and post snap, have better preparation throughout the week, and just, learn how to do that at a more elite level. That when I get to the game, I know what the defense is going to be in. And if they're in straight man coverage or whatever it is, and sometimes defenses have our guys, they got our guys covered up. And that's how, it goes sometimes. And I think that's opportunities that I get to use my legs at times. I would say those are the two things, and definitely just being a leader. I think that leading is something that you should never have to push. It's something that should be natural. And I think that through what we went through last year, it was something that just, it's always been natural for me, but it's just, it's very heartfelt. Something that was really real, that I got to kind of, a group of us kind of came together and really got to push this team. And, we've been having a good year this year, and but just want to keep finishing and keep striving.
Okay, that's good stuff. And I think a lot of what you were saying there, I'm sure, had to do with the growth between you and Garrett Riley, because he comes in, you have kind of one spring with him, but it's just everyone's learning something new, right? And now you had a full off season with him. How have you and Coach Riley grown together? Is it extra film? What goes into that relationship between you two?
Yeah, we have a great relationship. He's one of my favorite people, one of my favorite coaches I've ever had. But just, I think that being able to, exactly what you said, being able to go through last spring, last season, and then this spring, and then another fall camp, and just being able to be in the system for a whole nother year. When I get to the game and I go through a game plan, being able to talk about what we like, what we don't like, kind of draw up some plays sometimes. And just, I feel like when I'm on the field, I already know what he's going to call before he even calls it sometimes. And that's a fun place to be as a quarterback, because you're on the same kind of mindset as your offense coordinator. So that's been really fun.
That's great, man. And that takes time, right? It's not just it's not just something that happens. And I know, people, we're in a society where it's just like, we want everything to happen now, immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not the case. And specifically, for quarterback play, it's the hardest position in football. Like, it takes time to grow and to learn. And it's been really fun to see you go through that and to come out, on the other side and play at the level that you are. I had all those things that you listed written down, and that was kind of the order of my kind of importance with you as well. I think your pocket presence has been fantastic. The ability to escape and create with your legs has been really fun to watch, but also just your understanding of defenses. I can see it. I thrive and love watching your eyes and seeing you go through 1, 2, 3, boom, go. Check down or run, one or the two. I'm going to make that happen. I think another piece of this game and just of this Clemson offense that has been really fun for us to see is these receivers are balling. I mean, these guys are playing at a really high level. You've got some young guys that were inserted that took it to another level, but you're also healthy. And Antonio Williams is able to be the created player that we see each and every Saturday. What have you seen from those guys? And maybe what kind of clicked? Because not to go way back to the Georgia game, but it felt like after that, guys took it to another level as wide receivers.
Yeah. I think, first of all, it just starts with great leadership in that room. And that really starts with Antonio Williams and Adam Randall. Those guys have led, vocally, but really just led by example the whole offseason, the whole season. And just have brought in the young guys and showed them the way, show them what a hard work ethic is, showed them what greatness really takes to be elite in that room. And it starts with that. And then, I think that Antonio spent a couple minutes with us as an offense after the Georgia game and getting ready for the App State game. And I remember him just saying, hey guys, we don't have to go play perfect. We don't worry about not making a mistake. Just go play ball. Just go play. And I think that little message to that crew kind of loosened them up a little bit in terms of, let's just go make some plays. Let's just go be who we are. Let's go play like the player that Coach Swinney recruited us to be. And I think that was a great message for sure. But yeah, we've got some dudes in there. We've got a ton of depth. We've had times where one or two guys have dropped out and one or two guys have stepped in, and it's like there was no difference. It's just it's really fun. It's exciting to have a room like that with some elite dudes.
Yeah. What does it do for you guys just offensively to be able to take the top off? I mean, it feels like they have to play you differently, but from your eyes and from your quarterback, when you have that explosive down threat, like, because now it's, man, when I see you lean back and launch, I'm like, oh, that's a touchdown. What does that do for you guys, maybe play calling, but also mentally throughout the game?
It's fun. First of all, you want to launch the ball downfield. It's so fun. Big plays are always awesome. So, we want to chase those as much as we can. But there's also a system to it. We've got, top 3 running back in college football, if not the best. So to have to play, the 45 to 60 yard throw along with, the 5 to 10 yard, box of film often our offensive line, it can be tough probably sometimes, so it's a fun line that we like to play in terms of kind of which one are they going to pick per game. So being able to use both those and have both those weapons, it's really exciting.
Cade, you mentioned your feet and your mobility and kind of learning when to use that weapon. The play against Virginia Tech that I think stood out to everybody was the touchdown pass to TJ Moore, and just, I don't know how you stayed up. Like, I have no idea. And then just the wherewithal to find him. Can you walk us through the pre-snap, what you saw, and then what you're thinking as you're scrambling for your life? Like, walk us through that touchdown.
Yeah. I'm not kidding you. Like, the play that we had was pretty much just a man beater to the right. And then we just had a peel concept to the boundary with a QB draw. And we were watching with the quarterbacks yesterday, and Coach Riley literally goes, if you would have told me to draw up the perfect defense against this call, it would have been exactly what they did. They went split double mug up front, 6-man box, walked up, zone to the field, corner cat, safety came down and played cloud coverage, field safety went all the way backside, the double mug, 2 guys that thought they were going to come, dropped to the middle. So O-line had to squeeze, so they couldn't take the end rusher who actually came. I mean, they could not have played it any better. And then, I just tried to kind of get up under the corner cat and kind of slingshot out of there, somehow kept my stability, and TJ was wide open down the field. So it was a crazy play. And in the moment, I remember people, somebody asked me yesterday, like, what are you thinking on that play? I mean, like, you're just kind of reacting, you're just, you kind of got to go be a ball player in that moment. And, I remember my mom said after the game, it just looked like you were just a kid in the backyard going to play football. So I just try to go make a play and kept my feet. I said after the game in the media, I don't think I'm making that play a year ago, just based on my body, how much just faster and stronger and more stable I am in my legs. And I kind of just gave the credit to our strength staff on that one. Like, I don't think I'm making that play. I don't think my legs and my body is strong enough to make that play last year. So,
Wow.
Credit to them for that.
That's amazing, man. And I love how you just drew it up for us, because that's what I'm looking at too. You got, man, like you said, to the boundary and zone on the other side. It's just like, this is crazy that they just called it. And then they forgot to account about number 2. They forgot about that guy and just the creativity. It was amazing. It was fun to see. Let's stick to the Virginia Tech kind of theme here, because it was a great win, a great bounce back win. And Elijah Thurman has to come in and play. And it's crazy, man, because I remember seeing him back in camp like, oh, that's a big dude. He'll be good one day. And then people are texting me saying, this guy might have to play sooner than later. Man, I go back and watch the tape. He played out of his mind. How cool is that to have a young, true freshman on the road in Lane Stadium come up and play as good as he did?
It's incredible. I mean, he played as good as he did against the number 2 sack leader in the country too.
Well, tied for number 1 now. Tied for number 1. It's
number
crazy.
1 now. So, for that to happen, it's really special. But I don't think it was much of a surprise to him, and that's not cockiness. That's just his confidence in his play. He stepped in and he knew the work he had put in, and that's what the leaders of that offensive line does. They fuel the guys around them with confidence, and they push them to a level. Coach Look pushes them to a level that when their opportunity does come, they're ready for it and they don't got to flinch. They don't have to second guess themselves. And, Elijah just stepped in and just went and did what he does. I'm just so proud of him. He balled out. He really did. So it was awesome.
Cade, in that same vein, Sammy Brown balled out as well. And that freshman class has been showing up in a lot of ways. You can talk about your wide receivers too with Moore and Wesco. What have you seen from Sammy Brown, since the summer? And it felt like that was his breakout game in some ways.
Yeah, just a worker bee, really, just a worker bee. Just comes to work every single day. And just, Barrett and Wade have just been, I think, just leading them. You got a junior and senior that are bringing in a, number 1 linebacker in the country, all this, all that. And nobody really knows how good somebody's going to be until they really, you throw the pads on and you hit fall camp, and everybody saw it right away. And it was just, it was just his time coming. But I think really just he came in and just went to work. He didn't try to expect anything from anyone or let the 24/7 all this recruiting rankings get to his head. He just loves football. He just loves to be out there and play football. And that's what great players are. They love the game. They love to study film. They love to go to practice. They love to stay up here late and get here early. They love everything about it. And I think that's what that whole linebacker group does. And, Barrett, Wade, and Sammy, that's a trio right there.
Yeah, some good players. It's fun to watch. Fun to watch when they're playing at a high level. Let's get you out of here with a couple more, man, and look at Pitt for a second. I know it's only Tuesday, but this is a good defense. And a couple of weeks ago, they put on one of the greatest performances I've ever seen. 3 pick sixes and a half, 100 sacks. I think they finished with 5 picks. They bring pressure. They're aggressive. They go man-to-man on the outside, a little bit of quarters that make it look like man-to-man. What do you expect, just from this defense when you guys head up to Pittsburgh?
Yeah, exactly what you just said. A great defense, a defense that, is very aggressive, going to bring a lot of 6-man pressures with zone behind it. We'll get to probably about 3 or 4 different zones. And, they got good linebackers. They got some good DBs. They got a good front. They're a great team. And, they've got dudes everywhere. Definitely a team that, we'll be getting ready for all week. And, it's going to be a lot of preparation, get ready for it. So at the end of the day, we just got to go execute and do what we do.
Cade, I know Coach Sweeney, so I know it's one game at a time. It's, every week is the biggest week. Every game's the biggest game. When you guys look at your goals as a whole, is this something where you're talking amongst some of your teammates about still trying to push for that playoff, to get in the playoff, to possibly get in the ACC championship, depending on what happens? Are you guys talking about that right now at all, even outside of Coach Sweeney? Because I know what he's going to say.
Yeah. Obviously we want to be there. That's why you play the game. You want to be there. But talking about it is one thing, and then going to, finish out the rest of the season is another. And, none of that matters if we don't go win this week. So that's really the goal. And that's the truth too. You got to go win this game. And there's no stress and tense from it. Just go. Let's just go. Play the game that's ahead of us and go be the best we can this week. And that's what we do.
Kate, I'm gonna do one more. Ross, sorry, it's very quick because I have to ask this question. My husband and I were driving home from the Georgia game in Atlanta, and we're on 85, and we see this massive RV, and the back of it says Clubhouse, and we were like, What is this? It has Texas plates. So I have to know more about this. I'm assuming it was your dad driving this. Do they come to every game? Like, please tell me more about this.
Yeah. They got an RV, and they got the Clubhouse license plate. They'll plan it, and they'll anchor down somewhere at every away game and home game. They'll have the Texas flag and the Clemson flag up high and above. So yeah, they love that thing, and yeah, they're coming to every game, so it's fun. It's awesome.
That's awesome. I know that support means the world, man. Well, it's been great to have you. We appreciate you. So fun to watch you this year. Good luck the rest of the way, my man.
Absolutely. Thank y'all.
Mac, that was so good with Cade Klubnik, and we really appreciate his time. We know he's busy. We know he probably has a million other interviews to do, so we totally get it. And just appreciate his thoughtfulness. I mean, Mac, one of the, I think, best qualities in a human, period, is self-awareness. And how self-aware he was, talking about the things that he really needed to work on in the offseason, his pocket presence probably being number one, using his legs, but also knowing when to do that, right? His strength, which he talked about in that play against Virginia Tech, getting bigger, getting stronger so that he can escape the pocket in an even higher clip. That was interesting to me. And the fact that he said all those things and he truly has improved considerably in every single one of those categories.
Yeah, it was definitely awesome the way he laid it out, because it's one thing to kind of give a broad stroke answer and to be, vague and things of that nature, but he was very real about it. And, and I love that. And identifying things that, it's funny, KG, we'll send notes back and forth to each other on kind of what we think and what we want. And he was just going down my list of things that I see, that I think he's gotten better at. And so to hear that from him and the intentionality of it, like, in the off season, working on it and getting stronger and getting more, ingrained with the playbook, but also understanding what defenses are going to do for you, growing, just natural development and maturity that we already addressed kind of beforehand with him, because his sense to run and how he's running has been fantastic. Now, you see the ability where guys maybe go too early or freak out and don't know what to do. That was last year. He is so keen in the pocket with subtle movements, big movements, taking off and running. But he's been dangerous with his legs, and it's been really fun to see that. And I think, honestly, you look at every year that Clemson has been extremely successful, it's because they have a quarterback that can run. It's the ultimate thing that separates it all. Because when you can have a guy that is that type of an eraser, that is that explosive, and also just another hat to prepare for, it changes everything. So I think that led to the confidence. I think that leads to when we see him make audibles and change plays and, do all of that. It's just the growth. It's been fun to watch for sure.
And he gave a shout out to Phil Maffa. And I think Phil Maffa is the unsung hero, maybe even, and I hope Cade doesn't take offense to this, but maybe even the MVP of the season so far for Clemson and Phil Maffa and what he's been able to do. And you and I alluded to this. We were not going to ask Cade about this because he was not going to say anything about this. But there were some drops, too, in that Virginia Tech game. I mean, Cade, I think, could have had a much better statistical game, especially in that first half. And maybe even Cade of last year, some of those drops and not scoring in the first half and all that, that carries to the second half. And you don't have the bounce back. You don't have the explosiveness in the second half. I thought that was also a very mature thing to see. And Mac, I also loved what he said about Elijah Thurman, who just had an incredible game at starting at left tackle as a true freshman, and Sammy Brown. I mean, those guys, you can tell we think they're legit, but Cade also thinks they're legit.
Yeah, no question. And I think you're absolutely right. And when you look at that game, and there's a couple of obvious ones, like the bad drops. We're just like, that's a game changer. It's a big deal. There were some other subtle things, like if you're running a go route, essentially, KG, if you're running, just a fade, and if the DB is turning and sprinting with you, you should know as the receiver, the back shoulder throw is in play. Like that's probably what's about to happen. And there was a couple of times where guys the young guys just weren't ready for that. And it would have been a perfect 20-yard completion, maybe more if you break a tackle, that Cade threw to the right spot. And the guys they were on different pages. They were running, they were taking off. And instead that was right there. So, it's one of those things where, it's just a team that's growing. It's a team that's getting better. It's a team that refound their footing, and they've got another big challenge, this week against Pittsburgh, against a team that's wounded, against a team that is fighting for it all right now after losing, 2 in a row, and that, they're going to want to make a statement. And, I think the last time Clemson was up there, they did that. Now, none of these guys really played. You were saying earlier, Phil Moffa.
I was in attendance for that game, Eric McLean. I can tell you a lot about that one.
Forgot about
that. Brutal.
It was brutal.
Well, it's great for
Servassier Dennis
fans
had
were
like
very happy.
a pick 6 or something crazy.
The shuttle pass pick 6. Yeah. That was when I escorted myself out of the premises, out of the building. That was the last time though. Hard to believe that was the last time Clemson and Pitt played. Phil Moffa did play in that game. He had a touchdown. So he's the one that might really remember something from that game, Mac.
Right.
I want to bring this up very quickly, though, before we talk a little bit of Clemson Pitt. Right now, Clemson a 10-point favorite as of Tuesday afternoon, and the weather looks nice. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful Pittsburgh day. This was something that I heard brought up, and I just want to talk about it for a split second here, Mac, because right now, we asked Cade about playoff, and he kind of gave us the answer that we assumed we'd get. Right now, of course, Clemson does not control their own destiny. Miami has 1 loss, Clemson has 1 loss, SMU is undefeated. Because it goes to your common opponents, Louisville is that common opponent. Clemson lost to Louisville. Right. Miami beat Louisville. SMU beat Louisville. Seems like a problem. However, is it possible that another one of these teams rises up and can finish higher than Louisville? I think we're going to get intern Nick on this, all right? We're going to get some scenarios going. But basically, if you're a Clemson fan, you are rooting against Louisville, which seems weird because generally you want to root for the teams you lose to. You're probably rooting for a team like Virginia, right? And maybe Virginia can do something crazy down the road. It's getting weird. And because we don't have divisions, I think we're going to see this in a lot of leagues. And it's annoying because there's so many things that are out of your control, but it also adds a lot of intrigue to what could happen in the final games of the season, where if you're a Clemson fan, you're going to be locked into SMU Virginia on November 23rd. Like that game is going to be huge. Sure. So there is that factor, even though a lot of it seems silly when you get down to the bottom of these tiebreakers. Yeah.
You're also going to be locked into Syracuse, Miami at the end of the year.
Oh, 100%.
So there's a ton. The SEC's dealing with this too. The SEC has a nightmare situation approaching where they've got a bunch of 2-loss teams floating around trying to make this championship. I think what this really proves, what this shows, KG, is we need to expand the conference championships. We need to make it a tournament like basketball. I'm just.
Oh my God! A conference tournament.
We don't need that.
Let's make football season last until May 1st. Who wants to do that?
Honestly,
probably everybody.
Why
not the players, but everyone else.
NFL plays like 30 games. Why can't we? So anyway, intern Nick's going to make that happen. Nick, we need it laid out. We need the situations. We're back. We thought we were done with these crazy situations, but here we are, and the people want it. The people need to know. So we'll get that figured out and look at it. And at the end of the day, for everybody, for every situation, just win, and it'll work itself out some way, somehow. You'll be where you deserve. I think the interesting thing too, KG, I want your thoughts on this. Why if Clemson wins out, why should they be in the playoff, you think? Or do you not? Or do you not think they should be? Or not? Whichever way you lean on the fence.
I mean, I think right now, and I hate to say this because we just had Cade on, and I really appreciate Cade coming on, but you haven't really beaten a good team if you're Clemson. So it's hard to make that argument right now. Now, if they have an incredible November, if they go blow out Pitt, who's been ranked, who I know is beat up, right? Play Citadel. And then, you know what I think is the biggest game? And it always is, but for other reasons, South Carolina. Yeah. If you're a Clemson fan, you are rooting for South Carolina. I know that's weird. Until you play them, and you're rooting for them to be as highly ranked as possible. and then you need to beat them badly. I mean, I think that's really where it is. You have to make some statements with Pitt and South Carolina, the two of the better teams you're going to play all season, besides, of course, Georgia and Louisville, who you lost to. So that's what you got to do. But right now, Mac, it's honestly kind of hard to make the argument. But the season's not over. That's the point. What would you say?
And that's what I meant. If they win the table, if they run the table, if they win out, and they're not in.
It's even more than that. I think you have to beat Pitt and beat South Carolina convincingly. I don't think it's just about winning.
And who knows what could happen? There's a lot of chaos out there, and with other teams.
Oh, yeah.
Losing, which, we talk about this seeding and we talk about multiple bids, kind of going bigger ACC picture here. It was not good for the ACC that Georgia lost. Like that's not good. It's not good that Notre Dame keeps winning. Those are bid stealers because other teams are going to creep back in. We'll see. The rankings, I guess, have already come out. We will talk about those probably on Friday if you guys are listening to this on Wednesday. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see where it all sees. We got a weird light weekend, KG, in the ACC. Some very impactful games, but some other you're just like, okay, whatever. Here we are. So we'll have more on that on Friday. Go ahead.
I would say, so Clemson Pitt to me is super interesting because of the Clemson factor, right? SMU BC, like that's a massive game that, of course, if you're a Clemson fan, you're watching. No, for ACC implications. I think BC.
I think SMU blows them out. I think they blow them out.
I agree, but crazy things have happened. I guess Tommy Castellanos is not currently with the team, so that's a little. I don't know if BC's going to really stand a chance, but they did run the ball all over Syracuse. And then, okay, hear me out on this one, Mac. And it's just because I'm a homer, and I love my Who's. Virginia Notre Dame is massive. That Notre Dame, yes, they're playing great right now.
Spread. It's like 1,000-point spread.
Mac,
I'm going to look it up. Hold on.
I don't care. The Who's were an underdog last week. No one ever believes in my Who's. No one believes in this.
It's 23, and money line is 1,010. So if you bet money line Virginia, you're getting paid. Which we might throw some money at.
This weekend, Mac, you are not helping me.
No, it's not. It's not a great week.
Eric McLean, if Notre Dame can lose to Northern Illinois at home, which they did, even though the whole world doesn't want to talk about it, they can lose to my Who's at home. So let's lock in.
I'm in.
Let's lock in.
I'm in. And I'll give a little credit. I want to see the Cal pass defense versus Kyle McCord. You're right. There's some fun stuff. There's some good stuff. It'll be a fun weekend. With all that said,
more of this on Friday. Yes.
On Friday. That's right. We'll talk about it. Yeah. We'll have underdog picks. Use our code GMPod. Check that out. Get locked in because we'll give you some good stuff. We're winning money. We're on a heater right now, both of us. So we'll make it happen and come back
to support our Barry.
So we appreciate you guys. Yeah, exactly. Go over to YouTube, subscribe, jump on this channel with us. We always appreciate you guys, your support, your viewership, and your comments. So much fun. Let us know what you think about Clemson. If we're on the crazy page, let us know what you think about Cade Klubnik right here in these comments. That'll be fun to address those. And, of course, like I said, we'll be back Friday. So until then, we'll see y'all.